Thank you for listening to the Die Hard Dan podcast presented by Detroit Lions on the Prowl on the Belly Up Sports Podcast Network. Some said we would go belly up, so we made it our name, and we're still here. It's still all about the OTAs. Coming up on this edition of the Die Hard Dan podcast presented by Detroit Lions on the Prowl. Seany J and I continue our coverage of the Lions organized team activities. Then we give our breakout players on offense and defense for the upcoming season. All this and news and rumors as well. Coming up right now on the Die Hard Dan podcast presented by Detroit Lions on the Prowl. Watch out. Here comes that roar. What up, dude? This is Curt Steele, and welcome to the Die Hard Dan podcast. And as always, I'm with my man, Seany J.
The one and only people, Seany J. What's going on?
Hey, man, it's been a really good week. You know what I want to do? I want to thank you all from the bottom of our hearts, both of us, for the love you showed us on the last show. Over 1,000 views. We really appreciate you tuning in to the last episode. We trying to grow this channel and you showing out and showing up and all this good stuff for us on that last video. We really appreciate it.
Yes, and continue following the Die Hard Dan. Watch our video, share our video. And before we move on, I got to give a shout out to my girl in the Philippines.
Mm-hmm.
She knows who she is, my beautiful, sweet, loving girlfriend. She owns her own business. She got it going all over there in the Philippines. Every week she looks forward to our videos. She shares it over there. And so we got an international following.
Yes, definitely. Big shout out to, to the girl she over there in the Philippines doing it big for the Die Hard Dan podcast. All right, my man, you know what it's time to do. It's time to tell me something good. Now, first up, I want to announce that the Lions have announced the 2021 Touchdown in Your Town applications now open. This is for teams. They want to apply in partnership with Kroger, Riddle, the United Dairy Industry of Michigan. The Detroit Lions will provide support to schools in need of equipment, technology, apparel, and or grant funding for their football teams. I like to see the Lions doing this. They usually would just, provide support for teams in the local area, but they've put this out to the state of Michigan where they're going to provide this program for, apparel and funding and equipment for those schools in need. And they're reaching down to the next generation of football players.
Yes, because if the NFL wants to survive, they want to have a future, they got to take care of the young players, the next generations, because more parents are concerned about letting their kids play football with what they know about the concussions and injuries. So the NFL needs to step up, keep the young players safe, give them the equipment and technology needed to keep them safe as possible if they want to have a future, that is.
That's right. All right, my man. And you up next. Seany J, tell me something good.
Well, people, our brand new coach, Dan Campbell, was named Grand Marshal of the upcoming Detroit Grand Prix, which is next weekend on Belle Isle. And that's a good thing. He's doing this thing. Some people don't like it. Some national TV analysts don't like him. Who cares what they like and don't like?
Yeah.
Who says the Lions can have some fun? I mean,
yeah.
They want to see the Lions down. They don't want to see us happy or enjoying ourselves. But those days are over. Yeah. And we're going to do our thing on the field, too. Mm-hmm. And check it out. You haven't already. You can Google this with Coach Dan Campbell introducing his press conference with a racing helmet on.
Yeah.
So you go ahead, Jay. You do your thing.
Yeah, man. I loved it, man. Joy Taylor and Colin Carr coming over there at the herd, and they didn't like it. I know where Joy Taylor's coming from. She's a hurt Dolphin fan. She was a Dolphins fan, from when her brother played there, and she just got upset. She didn't like some of the stuff that Dan Campbell did as a coach there, but he's not the same Dan Campbell that he was the coach of the Dolphins or the interim coach with the Dolphins than he is in Detroit right now. So
who was her brother? Her
brother played for the Dolphins. Jason Taylor.
Who was he? Oh, Jason Taylor.
Yeah, that's her brother, Jason Taylor.
Oh, yeah, the legend. I thought he was gone before Camel got there.
No. She just became a fan watching her brother down there play of the,
Oh, I see.
for the Dolphins. So now she's a Dolphin fan. So this is a little disgruntled about Dan Campbell. That's all that is. I'm not really mad at, she could be whatever. All right, so that's telling me something good this week. I had fun watching Dan Campbell in his press conference today. They had a lot of media today, so go over and check it out on YouTube or DetroitLions.com or Detroit Lions app and check out, the media coverage from today. They had some great interviews. Jamal Williams was very entertaining today as well. But you know what it's time to do. It's time to go on the ball. And I got a question for you, Seany J. Who's going to be the odd man out on the O-line? Will it be Big V or Tyrell Crosby? You got two players. Now, Crosby has not shown up to any of the OTAs. They say he's waiting for a trade with the drafting of Penei Sewell, saying that his spot's pretty much going to be gone. And they already signed Big V last year. So he set out the OTAs, but he is scheduled to be in mandatory minicamp next week. Who do you think the odd man out will be? Will they trade Big V or will they trade Tyrell Crosby? I think one of these guys are not going to be on the roster coming up real soon.
It's real tough because I like Crosby.
Mm-hmm.
I would have been very comfortable and content if they didn't draft Sewell and let Crosby be our starting right tackle. I know we discussed this, but I like Crosby.
Mm-hmm.
But they very like that take Sewell. They faced a better player. Sewell got a lot of pressure on, once again, called generational player, future Hall of Famer, media starter, all that. He got a lot of pressure on him his upcoming rookie season.
Mm-hmm.
And with that said, like I said, this gave Big V a $50 million contract last year, which would be very difficult. Which would be very difficult to trade away. So by default, between the two, unless he really sinks up the joint, it won't be the Big V. It's going to be Crosby who's traded away because he only has a year left on his contract. And it's much smaller. So, but I still like Crosby. I hate to see him go. Yeah. That's our depth. We need some depth in case someone struggles, gets hurt.
Yeah. To me, it would be advantageous for the Lions to try to get rid of the Big V's contract because of the size of it. Where they would get rid of $9 million of cap space for this season, only be on the hook for $1.4 million because it's after the June 1st deadline. But I think I have to agree with you on that. I think it's easier to move Tyrell Crosby just because of the contract numbers. A team will be more inclined to take on an expiring contract of Tyrell Crosby. He's on his last year of his contract than they would to be of that big contract for Big V for the next couple of years. So I have to agree with you. I think Tyrell Crosby will be the odd man out just because of the fact that they're looking at how they are gleaning on the performances of Matt Nelson and a couple of other guys in camp. So I really think they're going to look at moving one of those guys in. Tyrell Crosby looks like he's going to be the most likely of candidates. All right, moving on. Next up, let's talk about the rookie, the big time name coming out of USC. We've talked about him a couple of times on the show, but he is really standing out. Rookie Amon-Ra St. Brown. Versatility has stood out early in the OTAs. My man is doing his thing. He's a technician on the field. He is really blossoming out there. What do you think about Amon-Ra St. Brown really holding it down at OTAs and standing out in his rookie OTAs?
I love it. I was hoping he would do his thing because, once again, just like the Ball brothers in basketball, his two brothers are raised to be receivers. And they don't have their own reality show. It's no difference between the Balls and St. Browns. But I watched this guy closely. You know what they say? Everybody keeps saying the Lions have the worst receivers in the NFL. So, and this guy's very talented. It's a shock. He's a shock. A lot of people are shocked that he lasted until the fourth round. Yeah. And that really put a chip on his proverbial shoulder. Yeah. And, excuse me. And, so I said maybe he could be our version of Jamar Chase. What's the difference between him, Chase, and Waddle, and Devontae Smith and those other receivers? Yeah. St. Brown think he's every bit as good as those guys. Yeah. He was a 5-star coming out of high school. Now, that don't mean nothing when you reach this level. Yeah. But, I guess the difference is the speed. He's not quite as fast as those guys.
He might not be as fast, but he's more technically adept. His route running is more really precise. He's a technician on the field. So, I mean, and his versatility, he can play inside, he can play outside. So he can play all over the field in the wide receiver position. He can run the whole route tree. So, I mean, don't get it twisted like he can't get down the field, because he can. So, I really like amon-ra St. Brown. I know Equanimous and Osiris, their little brother amon-ra is supposed to be the best one out of the bunch. Just like LaMelo Ball, that was the youngest and the best ball. amon-ra is supposed to be the best St. Brown because of, he just really goes out there and really works hard and is the most technical of all the St. Brown brothers. But,
Yes.
I would look for him to have a really good season this year. All right, Shawnee J, we got to switch it up a little bit. I want you to give me your candidate for who do you think will be the Lions offensive player to have a breakout year for this upcoming season.
Well, there's several people I can name.
Mm-hmm.
We need good seasons for all of them, obviously.
Right.
There's several I can name. I think the one that needs the breakout season got to be the newly acquired quarterback, Jared Goff.
Okay.
I mean, yeah, I'm going with Goff. I know he hasn't played it down yet for the Lions. He's new, but still, he replaced a living legend and Matthew Stafford. He got all the records. Now, a lot of people want Stafford gone, and they got their wish.
Right.
A lot of people say, "Oh, Jared Goff, he's just a 1-year stand-in or filler until you draft a real quarterback,
bridge quarterback."
I disagree with that because he's still young. He was a number 1 overall draft pick himself, just like Stafford. He already, unfortunately, accomplished more or went further than Stafford everyone in his career. Goff's already been in the Super Bowl. He's already been in 2 Pro Bowls.
Right.
He got experience. So I don't look at him as a 1-year filler.
Okay.
I look at him as a guy who's at least play for us the next 4 or 5 years.
Okay.
He's still young. He got experience. We got a young, experienced veteran. We're not starting over with some rookie quarterback like a lot of fans wanted.
Right.
I mean, like I said before, Campbell and Holmes are not interested in the rebuild. Yes, they're getting new young players in, but they still want to win.
Right.
They're not going to tank like the Pistons did this past season. They want to win.
Okay. Well, my breakout player candidate on the offense, now it can't be really a breakout because he's already pretty good because he made the Pro Bowl last year. But I think he'll have a better season even this year. It'll be T.J. Hockenson. That's my guy. I'm predicting him to be on one of the All-Pro teams, either first team or second team All-Pro. I think he will improve his game that much where he will be in that top tier of tight ends. He's did a lot of things to improve his game this offseason. It's gotten bigger, been working out there with George Kittle. I mean, the guy's huge now. He's got his Dan Campbell beard and his big mane going out there. So I think he was going to have a big season coming up. It's going to be T.J. Hockenson. Is going to improve from a Pro Bowl year to an All-Pro year. That's my breakout candidate for the 2020 season on offense. Now, here's a big story that seems to have a lot of legs coming up real soon. Could be a possibility that should the Lions sign Todd Gurley? The Lions have 2 roster spots open. They have been in contact with his agent, and even Dan Campbell today and his presser, and also Deuce Staley had some really high praise for Todd Gurley. Should the Lions sign Todd Gurley to the roster? Will it be a good move? What do you think, Shawnee J?
Well, I'd be cool with it either way.
Okay. Okay, why? Hello. Did I lose you?
I'm sorry, deaf purpose. I'm sorry about that. I lost you. For
Okay.
sign up for deaf. Because the running back is a tough position. I know we got the young guy. We got Swift. We got Jamal Williams. But you never know. Injuries happen anytime.
Right.
And anytime. You don't want to get caught your pants down. Lions been called like that too many times. I'm cool they sign him, but because the coaches like him. They're not expecting a Todd Gurley from 4 or 5 years ago at the Rams, but at least somebody gives some production. And he's skilled for scoring touchdowns. Even when they ask him not to, he got that mentality to score touchdowns, which a running back is supposed to. So I don't blame that Falcons lost on him.
Mm-hmm.
I blame him on the defense, and Stafford was just that good.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm also good if they don't sign him because we got 2 young running backs that I would like to see with the team. Of course, a 7th-round pick, Jerome Jefferson? Jamar Jefferson, Jamar Jefferson. And I still want to see Raheem Boyd, the last chance you guy make the team. I like him. Those are 2 good running studs, but they're rookies. So they keep 4 running backs. You keep one of those rookies and may put one on the practice squad. But it wasn't either way. I'm good with either way. If they sign him or they don't sign him. Yeah,
I feel you. With Todd Gurley, I like the signings because his depth. I don't think he's coming in to be a starter. I think he's coming in to be a rotational player, and definitely, down there on the goal line with he used that big body to get into the end zone. So I think
and that's the guy you want. You said you want a big body, score touchdowns on the goal line.
Definitely. Then he reunites with Jared Goff and his and DeAndre Swift, who was his teammate in college. So. I mean, I think it will be a good signing. I think the Lions are going to make some headway. They're talking to his people, his agents. I think the medicals are taking a little bit longer than what, and that's my man Jim over there, Detroit Lions in the Proud said that as well. Maybe looking at his medicals, what I'm saying, just to make sure that knee is going to be able to hold up during the season. Now, he did play a lot of games last year. He played like 15 games last year.
For the Falcons.
Yeah, for the Falcons. So he should be okay, and especially as a rotational player here in Detroit. So I would like to see him on the roster. I wouldn't be mad at that at all. I mean, the guy's still young. He's only 26 years old. So
exactly like Goff.
Yeah. So,
but what we think how Jamal Williams would feel about them bringing in Gurley?
He already spoke about it today. He said it will help with the competition in the room. He wouldn't be mad at all. He said as long as it helps the team. So he already spoke on it today during his presser. So, that was on the ball this week. Talking about the offense. Now we got to switch to the defensive side of the ball, and it's time to defend the den. All right, Seany J. Now, Michael Brockers was noticeably absent, but he is finally in OTAs and will be available for the team next week. Is it a big deal that he missed last week's OTAs, or any veteran player misses the OTAs?
Well, there's a philosophy about OTAs. It's a philosophy, or mini camps, as we used to call them in the old days. Some believe that if you're establishing your veteran, I saw this on a football program. Remember the football program, The Game, about the football team?
Yeah.
I love that show. I still watch the reruns. So anyway, you may remember an episode when the $6 million man, Lee Majors, was hired as the coach of the Sabres. New coach. And, Jason Pitts, the 10-year veteran receiver, well, he got off to a rocky start. And one thing that the coach said that stood on my mind, he said to him, "You're a 10-year veteran, Pitts. You should only be at minicamp if you have something to prove." Now, I don't know how you feel about that, but it also it shows some teamwork. You're buying into what the coaches are saying. Plus, then the Lions just give Brockers a contract extension or something in the offseason.
Well, they signed to a new contract.
Exactly.
Now, is this really a big deal? Now, he missed the first wave of OTAs, but he's there now, and he has some family things to deal with. I'm not sure what it was, and I don't think he really specified what it is. But the big thing for me is he's there now. He didn't was just goofing off. He ain't doing an Aaron Rodgers where he just sat out the OTAs, where he had a legitimate thing, and he's there now, and it's and by the league standards, it is voluntary. OTAs aren't organized team activities are not mandatory. Now, next week, the mandatory minicamp is mandatory, but the organized team activities are not. So any of these workouts, they're all voluntary. They don't have to be there. Now, a player can get fined if they miss the mandatory minicamp next week, or if they miss training camp starting on the 27th of July. But right now, until next week, it's still voluntary. So I'm not really, mad. I like he's there now, and he's helping out some of the young players. And he's kind of finding his way on the team. But he had a good interview today. I'm glad to see the big fella is in the D right now, checking it out with the young players doing that OTA thing. All right, next up.
Wait, before we move on, what do you think about that statement that was made? You think there's some merit to it? If a 10-year veteran should only be at minicamp if he has something to prove. You agree with
Nah,
that?
nah. If he's want to get there and have some camaraderie with his teammates and just help build. Now, I think it was necessary for him to kind of show up to this one because they are doing installs. It's a brand new coaching staff, so it's not about that. I mean, like if it was something different, but a brand new coach, you should be at minicamp, you should be at OTAs because of the fact that you are, they're teaching you new stuff, a new defense is getting formed. You're new to the team, so you should be in some type of attendance somewhere, either be it Zoom or him showing up to the second and third portions of the organized team activities. All right, so let's move on. The Lions have signed free agent defensive tackle Brian Price to replace the injured Joel Heath. Joel Heath tore his ACL. We talked about that last week. They put him on the injured reserve list for the rest of the camp. So he's going to be out the rest of the year. So what do you think about the Lions bringing in the big body Brian Price to take his place?
Well, obviously, he's a long shot to make the team.
Yeah.
It's more or less a camp body.
Mm-hmm.
But if he takes his use opportunity seriously to show what he can do, it's an uphill battle because he's battling against the rookies, the two highly touted rookies we got,
Mm-hmm.
and guys like other veterans like Brockers and Penasini and all those
Mm-hmm.
veterans. So he's more or less a camp body. I'll give maybe a 2% chance of making the team.
Mm-hmm.
But if he really stands on his head and impresses and outplays the other players, go for it. I wouldn't, he's a journeyman to say the least.
Mm-hmm.
Like I said, this is a camp body, but if he really uses this opportunity to show he can do and outplays everybody else, they keep him, I'm all for that too.
Yeah, or he can put film on for another team, or he may not make the Lions, but he can, impress during the off-season workouts and the OTAs and in camps, and maybe he get picked up by another team, if he doesn't make the roster. Somebody else can go ahead and sign him to the to a rookie, to a league veteran minimum. So I mean, good luck to him. I mean, it was just a move to, like you said, get that camp body in there. All right, Seany J. When we talked earlier, we talked about the breakout candidate for player of the breakout player of the year candidate on offense. Now we're gonna switch to the defense. Seany J, give me who's your breakout player of the year candidate on the defensive side of the ball.
Once again, there's many guys we need a good season from, a great season from. There's many to choose. I think my choice for a breakout candidate is a guy who I hated in college. I hated school with a passion, but he's a Lions fan, and that's obviously Jeff Okudah. He was the third overall pick last year, and like I said, last year, everybody and their mama predicted he would come to the Lions. So he's the right pick for the Lions, and they picked him. Now, he had an injury, which really slowed him down. He really shouldn't have been out there playing last year.
Nope.
Patricia Sissy played through the pain, and it showed he was slow to the ball. It showed. Excuse me. Let's hope this year he says, now he's a Lion. I'm rooting for him. I want him to live up to that third overall pick billing. I want him to have a breakout season. I want him to show why they made him the third pick overall last year. We need a breakout season from everybody, but he's the main one. Now, I read early this offseason, Aaron Glenn told him, don't worry about where you was drafted. Just go out there and do your thing. So let's take some pressure off. Yeah. We need to do his thing still. Do his thing to the best of your ability, young man.
All right. Yeah, I agree with you wholeheartedly on that one. My breakout player of the year candidate on defense is Tracy Walker. I just think Tracy Walker is going to have he's in a defense now that knows how to utilize safeties. And I think that he really got handicapped playing out of position in the Patricia scheme last couple of years. And one thing he said today in his presser is that the difference between this regime and last regime, he can be himself. He can walk around and just be himself and just play loose. And he, go out there, learn. He's taking a concerted effort to be a role model on the team, being a better person, being a better player. He's a beast in the film room, as Aaron Glenn has said earlier last week when we went to look at OTAs and their media sessions. But I look for him to have a breakout year. I think that Tracy Walker is finally going to live up to potential that a former Lion who said he had when he was here, and that was Glover Quinn. He had high praise high praise for Tracy Walker. So I think that he has a breakout year. And I think he could be one of those guys that has a really big season and can earn his next contract this year.
Yes, really, like I said, we need a breakout season from everybody to tell the truth. But
yeah,
we
we
both
do.
pick somebody from the secondary, ironically. You know, I picked Cooley, you picked Walker, which is another good choice.
Yes, definitely. All right, last up for Defender Den, and I have to make a programming note. Now, this we prepared these slides a little earlier today. Now, the Lions have released defensive tackle John Atkins, and they have released fullback Nick Bowden. Now the Lions have 2 empty roster spots to fill for the rest of the training camp for the offseason. So we'll see what's going to happen with that. But good luck to John Atkins as he goes about his business. You know, he's one of those guys, it was going to be hard for him to make the active roster anyway.
Same thing for Bowden, you know.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Will they keep a fullback? How many running backs? Will they keep a fullback at all?
Yeah.
This offense, you know, who knows?
Well, they keep it. I think they're gonna keep Jason Kabinda. He did pretty good at fullback last year, converting over from linebacker. And I think Nick Bowden, he just could not stay healthy. He was just, what did you say? How many? He played 10 games in 3 years.
Yes, all those games came in the 2019 season.
Yeah, it was all in 1 year. So you know, you just can't have that. So good luck to Nick Bowden as well. All right, so. Thank you for watching, tuning in to the Die Hard Den podcast presented by Detroit Lions on the Prowl on the Belly Up Sports Podcast Network. If you're watching on YouTube, like the video, share the video, comment on the video, and subscribe to the channel. And ring the notification bell so you know when you're getting fresh content from us right here from the Die Hard Den podcast. If you're watching on Facebook, like it, share it, comment on it, and feel free to follow our Facebook page. Man, Seany J does his thing over there on our Facebook page, keeping you abreast of all Lions news and rumors over there on our Facebook page. Now, when we get back from the break, it's time to talk about what has gone on around the league since the last show in 2 points conversing. All right, we're back from the break. Now it's time to talk about what has gone on around the NFL in 2 points conversing. Now, first up, the NFL has pledged to stop race norming review past scores for potential race bias. Now, this has to do with concussion settlements, Seany J. What's going on is that they were lowering the scores for individuals of color. They were saying that they had lower cognitive skills, they had lower IQs, and that concussions weren't bothering them as much. What a big racial bias by the NFL. That's
racism at its worst. What's this? We're back in the Jim Crow days now? So,
yeah, that is just terrible to think that.
That's racism at its worst.
Yeah, you're not taking care of your players because you think they had a lower IQ scores or lower cognitive reasoning, and you just don't want to give them, you know, what they deserve for their concussions. That's just a terrible way to do business. Shame on you, but I'm glad that you guys really, you know, went back and really looked at that and listened and decided to fix that issue with your concussion settlement program. All right, next up. Now, I had a big rant about this the other day, Seany J. I really want to get your thoughts and opinions on this next point in 2 points conversing. Patriots appear to be grooming Matt Patricia for a major role. He is slotted to replace Bill Belichick as their head coach one day. I have my big rant, brother. What you got to say about this one?
You know, I posted about that in our group, and I think it's a joke. Well, but he really loves New England, and Belichick really love Patricia. I mean, he came here as a total disaster in Detroit.
Yeah,
that's because like I said, that Patriot way doesn't work anywhere but New England. So maybe So maybe they, it will work. His tactics will work anyway because they're used to it. So same thing with any former Patriot assistant, be it Josh McDaniels or Bill O'Brien
Yeah.
or what's his name, the former Browns, the big guy, the black guy,
Romeo Cornell.
Cornell, yeah, or great, or what's the guy who used to be Notre Dame coach, the big guy,
Oh,
Charlie
Charlie Weiss.
Weiss. Yes,
Charlie
same
Weiss.
thing.
Yeah.
It's the Patriot way doesn't work outside New England. That's been proven time and time again.
Mm-hmm.
That's why I was so leery about Patricia, them hiring Patricia. I said, well, let's hope it can finally work because he had a Patriot guy here in the front office supporting him. Guess what? It didn't work.
Yeah.
So maybe he will have success in New England,
Man.
where if Patriot coach failed outside New England.
Yeah.
So
I'm not buying it, bruh. You watch this guy almost single-handedly destroy a franchise and a fan base in Detroit, and you want to give this guys the keys to your franchise? You must be headed for a rebuild because that's exactly what we're doing in Detroit right now. Right.
Well, Patriot way, like I see, he tried the Patriot way, so he's back with the Patriots. So
well, the Patriot way went down to Tampa and won a Super Bowl. I think that was the real Patriot way was Tom Brady, not Bill Belichick. Because I think Tom Brady made those guys look really good for a long time, especially that suspect defense that Patricia was running sometimes. Think about that. The Patriots in a lot of shootouts under Patricia.
Yeah, well, prior to being hired for Lions coach,
mm-hmm.
we were with Lions, and then it was sort of Bill of Goods saying, "Oh, he's very highly intelligent. He used to be an engineer. He's a hard worker. I mean, he works tirelessly." We were sold a bill of goods and we bought it and we got burned.
Sure did. All right, next up, my man. All right, still no Aaron Rodgers at Packers OTA. Jordan loves making the most of his reps. Now, his coach, Matt LaFleur, said that he is really doing well, but still no Aaron Rodgers, and they don't know when he's going to show up.
Well, Rodgers is trying to force a Packers fan. He might be really serious that he wants out of Green Bay. He don't care how much money they pay him. He don't care who they bring in. He wants out. Yeah. So maybe he wants to pull a Tom Brady and go to, I don't know, Dallas or Denver or somewhere and see if he can win a Super Bowl.
Yeah, maybe, man. But, I would love to see anybody there but him. To be honest with you, I don't like seeing that boogeyman in that green and gold of Green Bay. I hate seeing that guy up there. All right. Next up, we have Myles Garrett says bye-bye to playing pickup basketball. Got a COVID-19 battle. Caught COVID-19 for playing pickup basketball. What do you think about Myles Garrett saying, yeah, I'm retiring from basketball because he couldn't stay healthy. He got the COVID-19.
Well, basketball is a funny sport for non-basketball athletes. Like you see several other athletes in the past get hurt, mm-hmm. tear a knee or ACL, or ankle, or foot by playing basketball. Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's a risky sport now. Yeah, the guys, the football players, all pro athletes, mm-hmm. they gotta have a life, stay in shape. But in my opinion, you see the history of what happens to other guys. Stay safe, stay in your mm-hmm. lane. Work out, do football activities. Run, jog, do your stretching, your whatever, mm-hmm. lift your weights, work with your personal trainer, mm-hmm. but stay away from those other physical sports like basketball or hockey or soccer because you can really ruin your career. And stay out those motorcycles too. And if 4th of July is coming up, don't play those fireworks. JPP.
Yeah, excuse me, man. Yeah, that was funny, JPP. Myles Garrett, he can hoop, man, but it's just you can't be around people, especially you don't know in the middle of a pandemic. Even people you do know sometimes because they picked it up from somewhere and you don't know where they got it from. You know what I'm saying? So it's just really a crapshoot when you're out amongst a group of people. Now here's this last story, and I want to bring it up. The USFL and the XFL are both set to return in 2020. Now, the XFL, they were in talks with the CFL, so it may be, something where they work with those guys up in Canada. But the USFL is slated to return 8 teams, and it's going to return in its original format. It's going to be a spring league, like they were intended to be. unlike somebody else who tried to make them a fall league to compete with the NFL, and that's how they folded. You got to remember they were getting the big name players out of college. We
Yes,
got
they
Jim
were.
Kelly, they got Herschel Walker, Doug
Reggie
Flutie.
White.
Yeah, they're Reggie White. They got some big names and some big contracts. Now, if this is gonna be the baby of Fox Sports is bringing them back to really life after being so dormant for so long. What do you think about the USFL coming back to be a spring football league?
It's going to be interesting. The XFL and the USFL come back.
Mm-hmm.
It's going to be very. Is there enough fan interest or dollars support two football leagues?
Yeah.
And NFL, every league they try to challenge NFL eventually died from the World Football League. The AFL eventually had to merge with the NFL. Original USFL and the XFL and the AA. What's that football league that died?
That was a COVID. I mean, what that thing was with their funding. They got a committed money and not obligated money. So basically, the money was kind of set to the side and never really given to them for their league. But I think if the USFL brings it back in its original format, I don't think they will get like maybe the big name. They can't really afford the contracts that are out there right now. When they were in their infancy, and they could probably afford to give those big contracts like they did, because the contracts, in the NFL weren't that big. But you're looking at the big contracts of the NFL right now. I just think if they hold true to their plan, they could be a good spring football league that could, help us football fans get our football fixed during the spring seasons.
What about the Rock's XFL?
Yeah, we'll see. I think if they have a good combination with the CFL, they have a chance to make a good impression as well, just because they're already working with a league that's established up there in Canada. So that's definitely 2 points conversing this week. Man, Seany J, we have some good topics talking about this week in 2 points conversing. Always good to talk about what's going on outside of the Lions sometimes, just to see what's going on around the National Football League. And right now, it's in sports in general with the USFL, SFL, and the XFL. All right.
Let me say one more thing. I'm sorry, Chris. Before we move on, if we think it would be smart if the XFL and USFL, team up and collaborate and share so CFL be one big spring league, so they won't be competing against each other for fans and dollars.
Yeah, I mean, like the I know the Canadian Football League starts a lot earlier than the NFL. You have to, probably because of the weather up in Canada anyway. So, they definitely have changed how they, operate. So they don't operate the same as the NFL. I mean, we'll see. I mean, I like the idea of spring football because it gives me my football fix year round. You know what I'm saying? So
nothing can last. Some of these last. All these attempts at a spring football league.
Definitely. We need something that's sustainable. And the USFL was on their way. I just think they got a little greedy trying to compete against the NFL, trying to say it was a monopoly, and it was not. You just didn't have a league that could compete. They were good in the spring. If they'd have stayed there, they might, lasted a lot longer than they did, and they would have been able to merge with the NFL if they would have played it the right way. You know what I'm saying?
Yes.
Yeah. All right. So now it is time to go back and talk about what the member of the den quote from the last show. Now, we, at the end of each show, we starting to highlight a comment on the video from the last show. Now, this one is coming from John Martin, who watched the last show and actually subscribed to that channel. So here's his quote from the last show. This is coming via YouTube. He said about Jared Goff. He said, Jared Goff is all in. He hosted all the receivers and running back in Cali. He said, I bet he stays on for the 4th week of OTAs. That's a big statement coming from John Martin and some good support for the new Lions quarterback.
Right, I agree. He's a new leader. That's why I picked him during my breakout player offensively. As far as Goff goes the Lions. The quarterback, the leader. He has a great season. The Lions have a shot. It's more than quarterback, obviously.
Right.
But the quarterback is the leader, the focal point. Everybody keeps saying the Lions need a quarterback still. Well, Goff is the opportunity.
Right. I feel you. What you understand. I feel what you put down there. All right, Shawnee J, it's time to go ahead and close out the show. What are your final thoughts for today's show?
Well, June 1st, everything reopened in Michigan. The governor reopened everything. Restaurants, bars, the ballparks can, like Comerica Park, can have full capacity now. They want full capacity in NFL games and college football games this fall and the NBA in the fall.
Mm-hmm.
And if you notice, like this past weekend, sporting events, the Indy 500 was pretty much packed, and the NBA playoff games are getting packed again. Now it's good. It'd be good to get back to normal after this long pandemic, but let's not rush people. Let's not take it too fast. I still think it's too soon to go back to having 100,000 fans at a football game. I mean, let's take it slow. Let's still be smart. Whether you got the vaccine or not, still practice social distancing. Still wear your mask where you can. Still keep your hands clean. That's my final thought.
All right, definitely. I would definitely agree with you on that. Take your time, get back out there. Just be safe, people, and practice just good common sense. All right, for my final thoughts for the day is when we come back to you on our next show, we'll be covering mini camp. So we have a mini camp next week, mandatory mini camp. We're covering that. So I'm so excited to see what's going to happen in the next couple of days. It's going to be interesting to see the Lions are going to sign to fill these roster spots. So, and what I want you to do is definitely go over and check out the Detroit Lions on the Prowl YouTube channel. We had a good interview today with none other than Lions legends Herman Moore and Lomas Brown. We had a really good time with those guys. We sat down, we talked to them about a half an hour. It was a really good interview. So go over and check that out over on Detroit Lions on the Prowl. We had a great time. Jim, Mike, Rachel, myself interviewed those two Lions legends, man. We had a good time talking to them about how it was back in the day. We talked about Barry Sanders. We talked about Wayne Fontes. And it was just a good thing. We talked about some current Lions and some things that went on with the last regime from the Lions as well. So big shout out to those guys, Lomas Brown and Herman Moore. And hopefully we can maybe get them on the show one day, Shawnee J.
I would love to have them here on the Die Hard Gym podcast, and see if we get Troy Petrie on here too.
Tori Petrie, yeah. Shout out to Tori Petrie. Tori Petrie, if you don't know, she left the Lions organization. She branched out. And come to find out today, she let Lomas Brown know back in the rookie minicamp that she was actually leaving the Lions. She announced it actually the day that she was leaving. So they still haven't filled that position yet. But this shout out to her, and good luck to whatever you do, Miss Petrie. We really appreciate what you did for the Lions fan base here on the Die Hard Den podcast. She had made a couple of appearances on the show, and she was always gracious enough to come and talk to us when she could. So big shout out to her. All right, so Shawnee J, let the people know how they can find you on social media.
I'm mainly on Facebook. My name is Sean Jennings. I'm the most handsome Sean Jennings on Facebook, so I would say. Just you can send me a friend request. I'll be happy to add you. And also, I'll be happy to add you to our Detroit Lions Truth fan group page from the main administrator. And please check out our public page, the Die Hard Den Podcast. It's a public page, real easy to find. I keep both pages filled with Lions news and happenings. So check us out.
Yes, definitely. All right. For me, you can definitely find your man Curt Steele at Curtis Steele 14. That's at CurtisSteele14 on Instagram and Twitter. You can follow the show on Twitter at DieHardDanPod1. And you can go over to our Facebook page, definitely facebook.com/DieHardDanPodcast. Or you can go over to our Instagram. It is at die_hard_Dan_podcast. And definitely go over and check out some of our DSA fellows as well. You know, we do a good job of keeping those guys. We need to get some more of those guys on the program here in the upcoming future. But again, today, we really appreciate you helping the last video go over 1K. Thank you very, very much from the bottom of our hearts. Shawnee J, man, I am so happy to be here. And let's go ahead and close out the show. Hey, it is Thursday night as we're recording this. When we come back next time, it will be mini camp. And thank you again for tuning in to the Die Hard Den podcast presented by Detroit Lions on the Prowl on the Belly Up Sports Podcast Network. If you're watching on YouTube, like the channel, subscribe to the channel, like the video, comment, share the video, and click the notification bell so you know when you're getting fresh content from us right here on the Die Hard Den podcast. If you're watching on Facebook, like the video, share the video, comment on the video, and follow our Facebook page. As we said earlier, we really appreciate you tuning in to the Die Hard Den podcast. Hey, as you go about your day or just whatever you do in life, you got to boss up, ball out, and be the best version of you that you can be. From my man, Seany J, this is Curt Steele, and we are